All right, we now welcome on Bryan Matthews of AuburnSports.com. That's the Rivals website covering the Auburn Tigers. Bryan, thank you for coming on today. And I want to lead off with this question. It seems like on the Arkansas side, players they were asked on Tuesday about the Bo Nix fumble. Fumble in 2020. But on the Auburn side, I don't think they're really worried about, a little bit of bad blood or anything. It seems like there's bigger fish to fry over at Auburn. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's definitely correct. I mean, you've got the whole coaching situation with Brian Harsin, very much on the hottest hot seat you can be on, and you've got a team that's, came in with fairly high expectations. It's 3-4 overall, 1-3 in the SEC. So those are really the main 2 points of Auburn football right now, and I don't think anything that's happened with Arkansas in the past has really been brought up, at least among the media and the players, our coaches so far.
I want to ask you about the starting quarterback, Robbie Ashford. I was looking at his stats earlier this week, saw that he's got more picks than touchdowns on the year. I guess just what's the scouting report on him?
Ball security is a big issue. It's not just picks; it's fumbles too. I think he's got 7 or 8 fumbles. I don't know the exact number so far this season. Not all of them have been recovered by the defense, but he puts the ball on the ground a lot. So those are his two biggest negatives. I also say he's not real accurate on short to intermediate routes. He tends to do a little baseball throw in there sometimes. The positives for Robbie is he's a very explosive athlete. When he scrambles, he can destroy a defense with his speed. He's got really, really fast and quick motor there. And then he also does a tremendous job of when he scrambles, he can put his eyes down the field, which I think is a skill that not a lot of quarterbacks have, but he does have that skill. So he can just, he can hurt your team with his turnovers, but he can also make some big plays throwing the ball or running the ball.
So you talk about those turnovers, but you've been covering Auburn for a long time. I'm curious this season where have things gone wrong? Whereas in the past, maybe that wouldn't have happened and Auburn wouldn't be a 3-4 team.
Oh boy, a lot of things have gone wrong in Auburn. I think it starts with the offensive line. That's been an area of the team that's really been mismanaged for going back 5, 6 years. As far as recruiting, development, just don't have enough good offensive linemen. They haven't performed well for the past, half dozen seasons, and that's the case again this year. Although they did manage to get Tank going and run for 300 yards against Ole Miss, but I don't think Ole Miss is a very good run defense. I think Arkansas is better. We'll see. The one change there has been Jeremiah Wright. He's a junior, a guy that's flip-flopped from offense to defensive line and back again. He's a pretty good player at left guard, but that was just his first college start against Ole Miss. Played really well, so he's a guy you can build around. But that's been the biggest issue, I think. Offensively, Auburn doesn't have a real true number one SEC receiver. Maybe not even number two. And we'll see. The quarterback position is one of the worst in the conferences, in my opinion. Tate Bigsby is Jarquez Hunter. They're terrific running backs. They're strong there, but there's not a lot they can do when the offensive line doesn't perform. Defensively, they have talent at every level. They just don't work well together. They don't. They really struggle with run fits. Killed them against Ole Miss. Has killed them all season. And for some reason, this coaching staff does not play backups very much. So the starters really got worn down before the bye week, and you saw what Ole Miss did to that defense. Over 500 yards and 450 yards rushing. So we'll see how they respond after the bye week. But guys like Derek Hall, Colby Wooden, Marcus Harris are guys that could end up playing on Sundays. But you don't see that when you sit down and watch Auburn play right now.
So a lot of opposing head coaches have talked this season about how difficult it is to game plan for KJ Jefferson. Curious what your thoughts on Auburn's strategy are there, and then Rocket Sanders as well. You said Auburn's run defense is not very good. Rocket Sanders is one of the top rushers, if not the top rusher in the SEC. I haven't checked the stats this week, but I mean, those two playmakers. What can the Tigers do about them?
Pray maybe. It's probably gonna be a big day for those guys. I mean, Auburn is just not good. I mean, they've got some talent, but their linebackers just continually get in the wrong gaps all the time. And that, Coach Pittman and the offensive staff sees that, and they're gonna, do some different things to get their eyes going in the wrong direction and get big plays. So if Arkansas is not getting big plays out of the running game, I'll be shocked. I just will be. I mean, Auburn's going to have to score points to win this game. I do not see Auburn shutting down Arkansas's running game or KJ Jefferson. I can't imagine them doing it. They haven't really done it all year.
So, kind of on the flip side of that, though, the Arkansas secondary has been abysmal. You mentioned how Auburn doesn't really have an SEC receiver. But do you think that maybe the Tigers could take advantage of, even though Arkansas got healthier in the secondary over the bye week, maybe they could take advantage of that, extreme weakness that Arkansas has?
I do. I do. Auburn's best offensive play right now is Robbie Ashford scrambling and then finding somebody open. And when you don't have a secondary that's performing well, sometimes that secondary, gives up on plays or lets guys, get open late, and that's something that Auburn can take advantage of. So, if Auburn's going to be successful in this game or win this game, they're going to have to get some explosive plays in the passing game. And, Robbie can do that at times when he's holding on to the football.
So I don't know if you pay attention to betting lines or percentages or anything like this, but I'm looking at the ESPN Football Power Index right now, and I see that Auburn has a 56.3 chance to win this game. Can you chalk that up to anything other than the fact that it's in Auburn on the Plains this weekend?
Nope. That's it. And I'm going to be interested to see what Jordan-Hare looks like Saturday. It's an 11 a.m. game. The coach is on the hot seat. Fans are not happy with the program at the moment. But Auburn does have a history of turning out and supporting the team no matter what. So we'll see. I wouldn't assume that the stadium won't be full and loud Saturday. So that does give Auburn an advantage when it's like that and when the fans are engaged. And, I guess you look back on the series, I think Auburn's won 5 or 6 in a row. So they probably have some confidence there. So we'll see. I do think if you look at this game and you pull back a little bit and look at it from the Auburn Arkansas perspective, it's a real pivotal game. You look at the winner of this game had his chance to finish over 500, go to a bowl game, do all those things. You lose this game, you're gonna have to struggle just to get to 500, and there's a good chance, at least from our perspective, that you end up with a losing record because that will be loss number 5. Alabama at the end of the season is probably loss number 6. That means Auburn's got to beat Mississippi State, Texas A&M, and Western Kentucky to even be 500 and go to a bowl game.
So I saw that there was a report that Bryan Harsin is telling players that they're not going to get red shirts unless they quit or transfer. I can think of a coach that really messed up the red shirt situation at a specific program, and that being Chad Morris at Arkansas. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on that, and I don't know if you've confirmed if that's true or not, but that seems pretty stupid to me.
It is happening. Landon King, a really talented tight end / receiver from Texas, is the latest to leave the program. I mean, on the one hand, if you're a coach, and a guy doesn't want to play, I can understand why you don't want him on the team. And if Auburn was winning, and if Bryan Harsin was a coach that was, having success, I don't think anybody would question that. But that's not the situation right now, so I can understand why people question it. So, on paper, I don't think it's necessarily, something's wrong with that policy, but I can certainly see where right now for Auburn, it's not the best thing for the football program at the moment, but, we'll see. Harsin is really big on culture and having everybody pulling together. So I can certainly understand why this would not really align with the way he wants to run his program. So it's his program for now, and he can do it however way he wants to.
Yeah. So with it being his program for now, I think we all understand that it might not be that much longer. Do you expect more Auburn players to hit the portal throughout the rest of the season?
Oh yeah, definitely. They're definitely going to be more hitting the portal, and Auburn's in a situation now where it looks like they want to hire a new AD. which still hasn't happened. We think it might be this week or, maybe next week. But then that AD has to come in and evaluate things and make a decision. So whereas other programs have made the move quickly and will be prepared as soon as the season ends, I'm sure, to make a move to get the new coach. I don't know where Auburn's going to be in that situation, which I think is going to really hurt them. And I don't know that Arkansas fans care about this, but if you look at Auburn's roster right now for 2023, it's as bad as I've ever seen it in my 22 years covering the program. So this is a football program that needs to be able to strike quickly in the transfer portal. I think it opens December 4th, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to do this. So Auburn had a losing season last year. If they lose against Arkansas Saturday, it's probably going to be a losing season this year. And they're looking at the worst roster that I can remember in 2023 next year. So this is a tough time right now to be Auburn.
I'm curious. This is getting very ahead of myself here, but do you, the beat writers at Auburn, like, or do you have your eyes on candidates past Harsin at this point? Like, I know Matt Rule's name has been swirling since he got fired by the Panthers.
Oh yeah, I mean we're definitely speaking to people, and you know how it is. It's everybody talks, ads talk, coaches talk. Let's not pretend that these things don't happen behind the scenes, off the record stuff. Sure, and I think Hugh Freeze will certainly be a candidate. He's at Liberty now, doing pretty good, right? Trying to think some other names. Jeff Grimes at Baylor, of course, is going to be a candidate. I guess the Ole Miss coach, I can't think of his name at the moment. Lane Kiffin is definitely going to be a candidate, I would think. So we'll see how it goes, with Auburn. But they still got some steps to go now to get to that point.
Sounds like dark times on the plains.
Yeah. So from the Arkansas perspective, just talking to people this week, doing research, diving into the numbers, to me, it seems like Arkansas is going to win this game pretty handily. I feel like the Hogs should just completely dominate Auburn. That's just me. Talking to you, it seems like you kind of feel that way. I mean, if Arkansas goes in there and just out physicals them, dominates them, all that, where did the Tigers sit? I mean, what is it going to take?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why it hasn't been done yet. I think the new president and they get a lot of new leadership people wants to be very careful in how he runs things and step by step. So we'll see. But if Arkansas does blow out Auburn at home, that might be the breaking point, right? It could very well be the breaking point. We'll see how that goes. And I don't know for sure that's going to happen. I don't know how Auburn's going to react after the off week. I know Arkansas had an off week too, so we'll see. Can their defense get healthier and not be so tired and maybe play a little bit above the way they're playing? Can they find something in the running game or have some big plays? Or you never know. I'm certainly picking Arkansas to win, but on the other hand, I would not be surprised if it's at least a competitive game, at least for a while. We'll see.
Yeah, so I was going to follow that up with, so you're picking Arkansas to win. That was going to be one of my questions, but where does Auburn win this game? Like, where could Auburn win this game?
Well, their defensive guys that are pretty good would have to step up and play their best game of the year, especially at linebacker, which has been a big problem. I don't expect that to happen, but this is football. We can't always predict, how things are going to shake out. And then offensively, they'd have to establish a running game with Tank Bigsby as they did against Ole Miss. I know Arkansas is not a great run defense, but I think they're better than Ole Miss. But we'll see. But those are the two main things that would have to happen, right? If Arkansas runs for 450 yards against Auburn, they ain't gonna win that game. So that's job number one for those guys.
Last one for me here. We are not going to the game, but we have listened all season to the more seasoned Arkansas beat writers about how the press box at Jordan-Hare is awful. Curious,
trash, straight trash. Yep.
Curious for somebody who's been on the beat,
yep.
there on the plains for 20 plus years. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, nobody wants to hear beat writers complain about press boxes and stuff, but when I started, Auburn was great. One of the best around the SEC as far as the way they hosted writers from other schools and from national, you know, and you know, you had great seats there, you know, in the, sort of the close to the 50, and you know, now they've stuck us up in this thing in the end zone where you can't really see the field, and they serve you a bag of cold food, and you know, it's just not it's sealed up, so you can't get in the atmosphere, which I guess they don't understand. That's really important for really good writers to write about, you know, to get a feel for what's going on the field. You know, it's not just about somebody called touchdown or somebody, you know, caught a pass. It's about you know, a lot of things, and emotion and atmosphere is part of that. So that's something you can't get sitting in the press box. You basically get a cold meal, a seat, and maybe some TVs above you that you can watch the game.
So did they
Or
just kick you
bring some
out?
big field glasses, right? You know.
Yeah, yeah. Did they just kick you out of like midfield in favor of suites or something? Is that what happened?
Yeah, they turned those into suites, and they built like a whole recruiting lounge in the south end zone, and on top of that recruiting lounge, they built the new press box. The thing that really is bad about it is not necessarily, I mean, it's tough for us certainly, but they put the Auburn network there, right? So the radio guys have to sit there and try to figure out what's going on from that viewpoint, which is really tough. So yeah, it's just total disregard. You know, no forethought put in that at all. And yeah, it's Auburn is to me the worst place to cover a football game in the SEC now, and it didn't used to be that way. It's really sad that it's gotten to that.
Man, that's unfortunate. You know, you hear it from people who, you know, travel there for a game a year, but to hear it from a beat writer is different. This is probably because you said you think Arkansas is going to win, you know, that takes away the question of who's going to win the game. But what's the worst situation, Auburn or Texas A&M right now? I'm curious.
Well, Auburn only has to pay $15 million, so it's definitely Texas A&M. And plus, Jimbo is I mean, can I say a bad word on here? I mean, he is a
Absolutely.
total asshole, right?
Yeah.
He is a complete jerk. Does anybody in the SEC like Jimbo Fisher?
I hate transcribing
Besides
him.
the
I know that.
random A&M fan? I mean, come on. So they're in the worst position.
Yeah.
But they have a lot more money, I think, than Auburn does. I'm guessing they do. I'm assuming they do. Yeah. So we'll see. That's a lot of money, 100 million or so.
Yeah.
Get rid of your coach after just giving him a big contract. That sounds like something Auburn would do.
Well, here's the thing. Auburn hired Chad Morris after what he did at Arkansas. So that, I mean, that should tell you everything you need to know.
That's on Gus. That's not Auburn. That's on Gus.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah. They're good buddies from back in the day.
Yeah. All right. Well, Bryan Matthews of auburnsports.com. We really appreciate your time, man.
Hey, I appreciate you having me.
All right.